Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you all have a absolutely fantastic 2024. I wish you all well. I think it's going to be a great year. It's going to be an interesting year. All sorts of things going on around the world. Here we go. A video, a really good video that was released a little while ago. It's Fish the Moment, and it's Jonny Schultz. I don't know how many of you follow this guy. He has got a lot of subscribers. He's he's got 163,000 subscribers, and he's got 366 videos. And I just like his style. I like the way he puts his videos together. He puts a lot of effort in. So I'm going to try and talk about him as much as I can this year because he's got such good material. So let's get straight into it. The one I want to show you, let's go to videos. We'll tap videos over there. Oh, there's one I've got to talk about at some point. But yeah, this one.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Fish
Just
the
watch
Moment.
this.
In this video, I'll be breaking down the pattern used in 52% of the professional bass fishing tournament wins this year. It's a great pattern to use on every lake across the country in every season of the year. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Guys, yes, you don't want to miss this one. It's very, very good. I know many of you have seen it, but I just want you to watch how he breaks this down from a chart perspective. It is absolutely brilliant. Let's get back into the video.
So what is this dominant pattern, and how did I figure out that 52% of professional bass fishing tournaments were won using this pattern? To get this stat, I used the database created by the Deep Dive app that has over 10,000 tournament patterns from top 10 finishes in professional level tournaments. These patterns cover 25 years of professional tournaments and are collected by professional anglers, not just some random guy off the street. There were different variables when collecting these patterns, and based on the 2023 statistics from the Bassmaster Elite Series, Bassmaster Opens, Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, and the Bass Pro Tour, we can see that 17 of the 33 tournaments fished in 2023 were won fishing offshore in 4 to 12 feet of water. This means that anglers weren't catching their fish right up against the shore, but they also weren't catching them out in the middle of the lake in 50.
You see that? Very, very interesting. I know a lot of lakes in the States from the videos that I've been watching. It's becoming more and more difficult for especially the pro guys to actually target the banks. There are so many kayak anglers, apparently, that it's very difficult to actually get anywhere near the bank because they are predominantly just bank bashing, you know. And a couple of videos that I've watched, they've said it's extreme. It's becoming more and more difficult. I think Johnny Schultz mentioned it. Yeah, he's got a great video out as well. I'm pretty sure it was Jonny Schultz, and he said to target the shorelines now is very difficult. And then, of course, your much deeper water, a lot of guys are really not comfortable with it. So what Jonny Schultz is actually doing here, he's just eliminating water. This is something you're going to hear from me over and over and over. A phrase I've used in the past very, very often was situational awareness around you. And I was talking about your sonar and your maps and all the time. But while you're on the water, what's going on around you? What's the weather doing? What are the patterns doing? What is the water temperature doing? All these things. This year, I really, really want to focus on eliminating areas. Taking big bodies of water, sometimes a little bit smaller, and just targeting those key areas. And this is what we're going to spend a lot of time on this year. And guys, this is the type of video that you want to watch. You want to watch this type of video and then apply it to your own charts in your own dams and lakes and whatever. Okay, and I believe your best game is going to improve dramatically. let's get back into it.
15 to 30 feet of water. There was a sweet spot in 4 to 12 feet of
4
water
to 12.
that was out away from the bank, so technically offshore, but not very deep. This is how 52% of the professional tournaments were won this year, fishing this.
Take note, 4 to 12 feet. I'm going to teach you, if you don't already know, look, a lot of you know all the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. A lot of you have been following me for many, many years, have had my charts for many years, and are really good anglers. But guys, we've got to remember there's always people out there that don't know what you know, and we have to give them an opportunity. So for the guys that have that know this like the back of their hands, they're going to be like, right, enough of this video, and they're gone. Okay. For the guys that don't know this stuff or not sure, this is what you want to know. Watch this.
In between water. In the majority of cases, anglers were targeting shallow flats or shallow points that were just off the bank that had cover, including stumps, rock piles, brush piles, or offshore grass. What's interesting is that this pattern worked all across the country, from Florida to
Guys, the first thing he spoke about when he came to the 4 to 12 feet, what was he talking about? He was talking about structure, the bathymetry or the topography of the dam. That's contour lines, okay? The minute he starts talking about cover, that's not on your charts. Okay, they're on fish tech charts, but they're generally not on your charts. If you have an incredibly high definition satellite chart in the background on your contour charts, then you've got some strong possibility of putting a plan together. But let's carry on with the video. I don't want to let everything out of the bag just yet.
Texas to the Carolinas, all the way up north towards the Great Lakes. In addition, this pattern worked early in the year when the fish were in their pre-spawn patterns, all the way through the spring, summer, and into the fall as bass transition into those fall feeding areas. This means it's very likely that you can have success with this exact pattern on your local lake, regardless of the season of the year.
Or anywhere in the world.
To explain how to actually implement this pattern on a lake, I went to one of the local lakes in my area and started graphing in that 4 to 12 foot zone. I'll be explaining everything I see on my fish finder as I graph these areas, and also my strategy for implementing this pattern that's been dominating pro fishing in 2023.
Okay, did you see that? He identified the pattern, went onto his contour charts, identified those possible locations, and there's still many, there's still a lot of work to do, and then he used his side scan. Remember, his side scan to really go and break it down. Why is he using his side scan? Because he's looking for the cover. He knows the structure that he's got on his contour chart, but now he's looking for the cover. Okay, and once he finds it with his side scan and he marks it, that's where your other tools kick in. Then you're off the main motor, fishing rod in hand, and what do you have then? Okay, he doesn't use it in this video, but he does in other videos a lot, is his Mega 360. Then your 360 kicks in, and of course, without saying any more, live scope. Remember, your contour charts eliminates the most part of the lake. Then your side scan eliminates dead water where there's no cover. Don't waste your time there. And the minute you've got that information, you've got that cover, you've got that structure, you've identified the spots, now you're in fishing mode. And bang, you're on it. The 360 is going to give you the exact location. You can go there with your live, see what the fish action is like, see what the behavior is like. Remember, it's very difficult to monitor fish behavior with a 360. The 360 is more of a cover radar. I think for these videos going forward, I'm going to call it that. Especially the Mega 360, we're going to call it the cover radar, because it's independent of GPS, and that I'm going to explain in another video. See, he's identified the hotspot. On with the live
Got
stuff.
him. Good one.
There
or active targets
Ooh,
or
it's a
whatever
real good
you-
one. On the jerkbait here, out of a brush pile. That's what I'm talking about. Stay on there, fish. Oh, there we go. Beautiful fish right there. Man, that fish is kind of pale. Doesn't look too great, but nice one for sure on that deep diving jerkbait. Absolutely choke that thing. You can see him getting all excited on that deal on the live scope. And these fish are not super deep, just in these shallow tops. Let me get this guy in hung real quick. There we go, guys. 2 pounds, 14 ounces, solid fish right there. It is a windy, breezy day out here today, but we are catching them right now. So that's actually our second quality fish that we've had on. I lost another one that was maybe even bigger than this. So we are definitely on them right now, guys. I am kind of run out of brush piles in this area, so we're gonna have to go find some more, just kind of getting things dialed in. So let's jump on the graphs, graph around for a few minutes and start locating more spots that set up just like that.
Guys, I just want to pause it there for a sec. He found a really good spot. He targeted it. He got a good fish. Now he's got to put his rods away and go and look for some more cover. This is one of the key differences between a fish tech chart and any other chart in the world. We are using the best tool for finding cover. We've identified that. We've discussed it. We know what it is. No, it's not your 360. No, it's not your live scope. Those are fantastic tools, but don't use them for the wrong thing. Your side scan, okay? What we do at Fish Tech is we use the best side scanner we can get our hands on, and we go and record all these depths that you wish to target. So it's pre-scanned. You can sit at home in the comfort of your home and identify all these brush piles, all these rock piles, all these stumps. Everything can be identified at home. You don't have to do what Johnny's doing now. Put your rod away, go and drive around and look for more brush piles. You've got it all.
Okay guys, let me kind of explain what I've been doing today. Basically, I got to the lake about an hour ago, and I spent my first hour actually graphing for fish that were suspended out here kind of in the middle of the creek channel.
Crazy.
There's no contour maps on this lake, but as you can see, there's a nice creek channel right here. There's bait fish all over it, and there's a bunch of small arches and small fish around. The problem is that while there are a lot of fish all over the screen here, none of them are very big. Basically, all the fish I graphed around in this area were no more than maybe a 1.5 pound, 2 pound fish. I did make a few casts and caught a couple fish on an Alabama rig and a couple fish on the spoon, but they were all real small. So because I basically struck out with these fish that are out here in these ditches and things like that, I wanted to see if there were some fish that were kind of in between these offshore ditch areas and the banks where they should be heading as water temperatures drop into the mid-50s. And as you can see, guys, as I make my way over to show you where I end up catching that fish, there are fish all over the screen here on 2D sonar, down imaging. I mean, they're covered up out here. It's just all those arches are relatively smaller fish. And I really want to be catching those 3 to 5 pounders when I go to the lake. And I can tell the size of those fish based on the size of the arches on my 2D sonar and the dots there on down imaging. And it just isn't worth my time trying to target those fish because one, they're not that easy to catch when there's all this bait around, but they're also somewhat spread out. They're not grouped up tight, so I have to target individual small few fish here and there. So just not worth the effort when you're only fishing for a 2 pound fish. However, I did start making my way up here a little bit shallower, and I had a few brush piles marked, and this is actually on my mapping here where I ended up getting a few bites and where I caught that nice fish a second ago. And I don't have very many of these brush piles marked up here this shallow, so we're gonna have to go graphing here to go find more. But basically what I was thinking is that if those fish weren't out there in that 15 to 20 foot zone, they might be setting up on some hard cover up here in maybe 10, even maybe 7 or 8 feet of water. And with the cloud cover and the wind, I was thinking a jerkbait could be a really good way to trigger these fish to bite.
See the hard at bottom there?
With these brush piles, as I graph over them, I can tell that there's definitely quite a few fish around these brush piles, as well as some isolated groups of bait fish. So as we graph this on side imaging, I'll kind of switch over to the side imaging view. There are fish all over these piles.
Here's a good one.
You can see them kind of scattered out and suspended on the all different sides of them, and I mean, it's pretty cool. If we zoom in like right in here, you can actually see several really nice fish setting up right around that pile. So that's exactly what we're looking for. I mean, it's clear as day, and based on the size of those dots plus the shadow, you can tell they're pretty quality fish. So we definitely have the deal figured out. We're really looking for these brush piles. Even this one right here, I don't have marked. Didn't do a really good job when I marked this earlier, but these brush piles here in that like 8-9 foot zone definitely are holding the better quality fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep graphing in the same kind of 7 to 9 foot zone and mark a bunch of these brush piles and then start running them. When I'm graphing for brush, really what I like to do is just pull up my side imaging, and actually we just found one right there I didn't even know about, and there are a few nice dots around it. It'll kind of come into the screen on the left side here in a second. There's a really nice fish, couple fish on that. There's a few more brush piles around here, and I didn't have any of this stuff marked because normally I don't really target fish these brush piles in this zone for whatever reason in the past. So I'm gonna mark these brush piles. There's another couple over here that popped up. So
guys, what Jonny is showing you is fantastic, and it's a proven technique. But imagine if you could go out, go to your local tackle store and go and buy a chart for the body of water you're going to fish that has all the side scan already done for you. Just think about the value. The time you're going to save is phenomenal. And I'm going to be talking about this over and over, and I'm repeating myself again, what I said earlier. Time. Time is the most important thing. If you're not using your time effectively on the water, we live busy lives. And you tournament guys, you're especially under the gun. You don't have time to go and work things out and drive around and whatnot. You need that information right at your fingertips.
And I feel like these fish are just more likely to commit to this jerkbait than a jig right now in the fall with the wind and all that stuff. So you can see the fish behind it right now. I mean, these fish just get on this bait like a magnet. Fish right behind it. Oh, get it, fish. Come on, come on, come on. Eat it. It's a good one, too. Eat it. He's got to kind of work it fast and get him to try to... Got him. Get him to come in.
That's quite amazing to watch.
Oh, choke that thing, too. That was fun.
People say that it's so boring to watch people fish with live scope. But I tell you, once they start putting each angler's screen, when they do a screen recording for his day and they put it in the bottom of the television or your computer screen, whatever channel you like watching to watch these big tournaments, and you can see what he's seeing, like what Jonny just did there now, that is so exciting. That is, I'm not going to say it's as exciting as seeing a fish smash a frog on a lily pad, because that's phenomenal. Those are Fred Rombanus days. But that's exciting. Anybody that says that that's not exciting really, really hates live scope.
Got him. Good one. Stay down, fish.
Quite difficult to
Real
track your
another brush pile here.
With your live scope.
One.
It's definitely
having to run a bunch of them to get these fish to bite.
There's art to it.
Well, guys, that's it for this video. Ended up catching about 10 or 12 fish out of these brush piles. Not all of them were massive, but we did get a few good ones, and I lost a decent one as well.
Right, guys, you can go and watch the rest of that video on your own. What I'm going to do in a follow-up video to this, I'm going to use one of our charts, but I'm going to use the guideline and the pattern that Jonny was talking about here. And I'm going to use one of our own Fish Tech charts and show you how you would do it. So guys, thank you for watching. I look forward to doing a lot of these videos in 2024. If there's anything you guys specifically want to see, please let me know in the comments below, and please guys subscribe. I haven't pushed this channel hard for a long time, but any support from you guys will be much appreciated. and let's see what we can do in 2024. I'll see you guys out there.